I'm in here in the super van, all nice and cozy. It's 30 degrees outside. And I shot a lot of footage with this camera, which had been my main camera, and now it's very screwed up. It was only giving me mono, not stereo. And now there's a clicking sound in there. So this week's video will be narrated by me as I watch it with you. I'll edit and put it all together. There's good stuff in there that I was talking about in real time while I was shooting the video. But I can repeat it as we watch the video together. And then I'll have a voiceover and it'll all work. It's all good. Why I'm in Colorado is I'm trying to get to a place with trees where I can have a campfire, but I'm still in the middle of the high desert. It was 30 degrees this morning, and I'm headed towards South Dakota. The reason is, and through Wyoming, and I'm doing that because I need to get my license plate renewed, and I had planned on scoping out a state where the fees and everything else related to living in that state is less and is better for nomads. South Dakota is so unpopulated that they've decided to welcome nomads in every way they can. So I'm headed for Spearfish, South Dakota, to get the tags I need for my car, to change my residency, and to get a commercial, a P.O. box so that I can follow South Dakota's requirements for becoming a resident of their state. Doesn't mean I'm not going back to Michigan. It doesn't mean that at all. It means I'm going to scope out what South Dakota has to offer as compared to Michigan, and we'll see how it goes. I've got this stream of videos with bad sound, so I cannot let you hear the sound. It's just too bad. But I know what I'm saying, and it's not that important anyway. I just want to let you know where I started with this video, where I'm going now, and I'm coming across high desert that's cold and void of trees. That's kind of a bummer, but it sure is pretty. And the super van is performing well and keeping me warm with the electric blanket or the remote start when I'm laying in bed and I wake up and it's freezing. I just hit that button and I get heat from the motor, from the engine of the super van. And it turns off automatically in case I fall asleep. Runs about 20 minutes and heats up the whole van. It's nice. Looked at the weather report. The wind was supposed to kick up. It was already pretty windy. So I tried to do the cooking that I had to do, which was tacos. I made tacos with $4.50, 1 pound of, what do you call it? Ground beef. Yeah, the cheap kind. But it ended up tasting all right. So what I did was put the ground beef in the skillet. You can see how the steam is moving around because of the wind. Once I got it browned, I threw in the taco seasoning packet, which makes it delicious. Poured in the correct amount of water. And once I had incorporated that by stirring, in the pan to warm it up, I took a Rosarita's refried beans, which I had never tried. It's refried beans with whole beans in it, so I guess that's why it's traditional. But they turned out good. I only used half a can. A couple nights later, the wind was still howling. I couldn't cook any hot food. So I took the Rosarita's, I put it in a bowl and I microwaved it. Threw on some hot sauce. Had some tortilla chips, so everything was good. That's a flour tortilla. 2 of them, get them warmed up, and it doubles as a pot lid as everything simmers. Then I moved them out of there because I wanted to put some cheese to melt on that beef, which I did right there. Put the lids back on. Smush those beans, they're getting hot. The smell was great. Cheese is melted. I got a pile of raw diced onions. Put them on there. Forgot all about this cheese stringing all over the place. Now I put the refried beans on as a base. Shoveled on that nice spicy meat. Made sure I got some fresh onion. Forgot to add hot sauce, tapatio's, which is what I got. I made more. You can see all the meat. Oh, there we go. Now watch. You got to read my lips. I think it says it's still good, meaning I forgot hot sauce. So that was fun. And now we'll segue right into all the camera work that needs to be done. See that little tiny disc? I got to pick that up with my fat fingers and shove it in the camera. All this stuff is tough for me because I can't, my fingernails have to be just right to push that little sand disc into the camera apparatus. I have to pull over when the camera dies if I'm making a time lapse. So it takes a while and then I get back on the road. When it got towards nightfall, I pulled off on some Bureau of Land Management camping areas, and that's free for up to 2 weeks. I got out and I started picking up trash with my grabber. Why do I do that? Well, because I want it to be a pleasant place for future campers. Also, I do use paper plates, paper or plastic forks, and when I do this, I hardly ever film it, but I do it because it's a net gain for the environment. Okay, I picked up a ton of trash, a whole big bag full, and then I take it into town and throw it away. But there's things like decades-old rusty sardine cans, one right next to the other, all kinds of discarded clothing and broken beer bottles, beer cans, usually Bud Light or Keystone Light. People with a bigger beer budget drink better beer. Now here I am trying to cook a pork chop in a pan full of hot grease. But the wind started picking up, and I couldn't get the temperature I wanted on that oil, because even with the windscreen on the stove, the wind would get around it and take away a lot of the heat from the burner, which was going full blast. And so you'll see here in a moment, I had to move the stove, which meant I had to take the hot oil-filled pan, set it on the desert ground, all dusty, and move quickly to move that hot stove to where the angle of the wind was better. And you'll see that the pork chops start to cook at a higher temperature once I get the stove situation in relation to the angle of the wind set up right. And then the pork chops started frying. The pork chops? Yeah, I'm looking at them and remembering how good they were. And now my mouth is watering, and I wish I had a crispy, brown, crunchy, delicious pork chop. That one's perfect. Here's the sound you can't hear. There's a crunch. Oh, yeah, they were good. They were good, so I packed up some stuff and I got inside the van, and the sunset started showing off. Come on now, there it is. got prettier and prettier as night fell. And I like it that you watch this video all the way to the end. Thank you. Like and share. If you haven't, please subscribe. We got more stuff on the way. Good stuff.